Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is a very special one because we're going to be tuning the 8, and I know you guys really want to see this. So if you didn't see last week's episode, me and Teddy installed the engine and I've been running it in now, and it's time for a tune. So Dee, do you want to talk me through what we're doing?
We'll just be getting some baseline runs and stuff in stock form because it's just a street part, so we don't have to be actually adding any base maps to it or anything. So we'll run it on the stock map and see what sort of power it is, make sure it's running healthy, look at the data logs and stuff. Once we're happy with the logs, we can start tuning the car. With this car, we're not actually chasing big horsepower numbers of it. If it makes good numbers, then happy days, but this engine's more about drivability. With the bridge ports, you do lose a lot of mid-range and low down torque, which for the road isn't really ideal. So we're trying to get a lot of mid-range and low down torque on this engine, as well as some nice peak horsepower numbers, so we'll see what happens.
Cool, let's get on dyno.
Car's at dyno now, we're going to run it as stock, take some data logs on Mazda edit, make sure that the engine's doing exactly what it should be doing, fueling's okay, trims and stuff are all okay, and all the sensors are working properly. Once we've collected that data, then we can start tuning the vehicle and just optimising the tune from there, and just see what sort of power we can get out of it. Like I say, we're not chasing numbers, we want this car to be the best it can be on the road in terms of like drivability, so we want the torque to be instant rather than waiting 6,000, 7,000 RPM on your bridge ports and stuff. So yeah, we'll run it up now, see what happens, and then we'll go from there. So, 214 wheel horsepower, 145 foot-pound of torque at the wheels. Obviously this is on a stock tune.
Stock tune, yeah.
It's just a street part, nothing special, no big bridges, no. Just a nice stock build. Just a street part, that's all it is.
Yeah. On
a stock tune, 214 wheel horsepower, 145 foot-pound of torque. Bet you weren't expecting that, were you?
No.
So, the amount of engines that I've built in my time, I know for a fact that these engines completely rely on compression to make power.
Yeah.
Cutting huge bridge ports into these engines, you're sacrificing compression for braps. Yeah, you're getting overlap, and it makes you feel like you're making more power because it starts to make your engine brap. But compression is key.
It is key.
Stock engine, all nice new parts, resurfaced housings, street part, a nice free-flowing exhaust system.
Yeah.
On a stock tune, literally first run, base run.
We're literally, one run, we're done.
How many miles have you done it? since rebuild?
Done 40 max, 40 miles.
So he's done 40 miles. The engine's done 40 miles, right?
Yeah.
So the compression will still be going up.
Yeah.
The seals still have to bed in properly on the housings and stuff, so the compression will still be raising.
Yeah.
So in theory, this is going to carry on making more power.
Okay.
So the engine's not even fully running yet.
Okay.
It's still already made 214 wheel horsepower, which is most of them, a lot of engines.
Yeah.
So now we're going to tune it.
Yep.
499 octane fuel. Obviously optimising it to its full potential,
Yeah.
and see what sort of power we end up at. But from the graph you can see torque curves basically a flat line,
Yeah.
whereas Bridgeport's you lose this bottom end, you start making power up at like past 6,000 RPM, whereas this is just looks like a V8's torque curve.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a flat curve, and the thing is it's got stock intake on it. Has it got stock intake now?
So it's got, yeah, we're back on the stock intake with the race and beat duct.
Air duct and airbox.
Airbox.
So Mazda spent hours and hours of development making that intake system work 100% with the Renesis. They've designed the valves and the length of the intake and stuff perfectly to match the Renesis engine. So putting a Canaan Typhoon on it, yeah, you're getting more noise, just like you get more brats with a Bridgeport, but do you really make more power? And are you sacrificing power and drivability just to make a little bit more noise? So this has got a stock airbox,
Yeah.
a Revy intake duct,
Yeah, yeah.
what's it got, a Jap speed manifold,
Yeah.
a dual res race and beat D-cat, and a Petit catback. Other than that,
Got stock coils as well.
stock coils. Other than that, it's a stock engine basically. So very good power. That is very good power, and the car's not even tuned yet. So we're going to tune it, see where it ends up, and we might even get the car back on the dyno once you've done some miles in it, just to run it, just out of curiosity, to see if it does start to make more power. So we'll tune it. Obviously we'll save the dyno runs from our last run on dyno, and then we'll bring it back in like 1,000 or 2,000 miles and get it back on dyno and compare
Yeah, that's a good shout.
then and now. So you never know, it might be an extra 5 wheel horsepower once the engine's 100% bedded in. So yeah, we'll get it tuned. Let's
That's it.
see what happens.
So what's this bit that you're doing now?
Bit of timing, man.
Ignition timing, yeah.
Yeah, man.
If you could sum it up in one sentence, what ignition timing is.
One sentence. Ignition timing is basically whereabouts the spark plug ignites relative to engine position.
Okay.
That were a sentence.
Yeah.
Good though, isn't it?
I like that.
So basically, BDC and, well, no, you've got before top dead centre and after top dead centre. So basically, before top dead centre is your advance, and then after top dead centre is your basically your ignition retard. Yeah,
Nice one.
there's some shit. It's hard to explain it, but ignition timing is basically you usually focus on before top dead centre, and that is basically how early the spark plug fires before the piston or rotor reaches top dead centre. You ignite the spark plug earlier, which raises your combustion pressure. In return, you get more power, but you get to a point where you run into detonation or knock, whatever you want to call it, and then that's when you need to start backing your timing off. Or if you go past that point, then you start smashing apex seals.
Oh no.
Which is not what you need.
How would you go about measuring or listening out for knock and detonation?
Well, we've done testing. I've tuned that many of these now. I know what sort of timing they run on what octane fuel and stuff, and depending on port and compression and blah blah blah. But if I were to tune one of these, and I haven't tuned one before, you can't really log. They do have 2 knock sensors, but you can't log knock frequency with Mazda Edit. Whereas on some cars you can actually log the knock sensor frequency as a parameter, and you can kind of get a feel for what the engine's doing internally from the knock sensor frequencies. But when we first started tuning these, we used to tune them with Audible knock control. Audible knock detection, that's the word. Yeah. Audible knock detection. So basically we put external knock sensors on the engine, and we use a long wire that comes into the car with some noise cancelling headphones, and you can basically listen to the internal combustion of the engine.
That's mad.
And then when you start to hear detonation, you know you're at MBT. So like I say, we've done plenty of testing on these. We've been tuning them for many years, so we know what's what. Yeah.
You could probably tune one of these blindfolded.
Probably.
I want some P's and B's.
Everybody does.
I want some big ones though.
Nah, I'm just going to give you a nice little crackle.
Yeah.
We'll give you a nice little crackle.
Yeah.
And then we'll get some clips of it. And then we'll see what you think of it. And if you want it to be more aggressive, we can give it to you.
Okay.
We can give it a little bit more aggressive.
I think my favourite one is when you get 7,000 RPM.
The sonic boom.
Yeah.
You're not allowed that anymore.
No.
We're leaving that in the past.
Yeah.
This is nice, just powerful, stock, civilised. No, I'm joking, you can't pop some bang.
Big bangs, mate. Big bangs.
Yeah.
Running good? Dialed in.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
That's mega power.
Right, that is some impressive numbers.
More or less 219 wheel horsepower and 150 foot-pound of torque.
I'm happy with that.
It's between the stock tune and the actual tune, it's made more torque all the way through rev range.
Yep.
And made like an extra 5 wheel horsepower at top end, which doesn't seem like a lot, but
Rotaries.
yeah, and it's already making big power, so there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, 219 wheel horsepower.
Decent.
Got like 60 miles on it now.
Yeah.
I reckon after a few good long drives out,
Yeah.
a few thousand miles on it, once it's fully bedded in. Obviously you two-stroke all the time anyway, so
Yeah.
it's going to be looked after well. I think it could be a 220 wheel horsepower engine. So I think it'd be good to get it back on and test it again in a few thousand miles, like we were saying. I've got a few.
We'll do that thing.
A few other little things that I want to test. It's the torque curve for me.
Yeah.
Street parts have always been the same. Because you've got that compression, it just means you've got a good amount of vacuum to open the actuators on the intakes quickly, so they snap open really fast.
Yeah.
And then you just get that nice flat power band, rather than having big dips because bridge parts don't make much compression.
No.
Compared to a street part. So
Was that because of the goopy apex wheels?
between the goopies and when you start taking away actual surface area of the iron within the part, that's all compression area that you're losing.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be good to compression test it actually.
Yeah.
See what compression it actually is. It'd probably be very high. But like, it's not special. It's just a nice, good standard engine rebuild with a street part, a good free flow exhaust system, a panel filter, stock airbox.
Yep.
Bit of a tune.
Yeah.
How long have you had this car?
2015. So good 6 something.
That's a long time. So when you first got this car, it was completely stock.
Completely stock.
I remember you getting it, coming down first time.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen it. I've seen this car's ups and downs. I've seen the whole journey all the way.
Yep.
And this used to be like an everyday car for you.
Yeah.
You used to drive it every single day. And it got to a point where this became like a weekend car for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was loud. It stunk of petrol fumes.
Yeah, it was bad.
The braps, like, it idled at 1500 RPM, sat in traffic, sun shines out, you've got your windows down, music on. You can't even hear your music because there's that much vibration coming through a car.
Yeah.
That it's distorting your ears.
Yeah.
From the braps. You're shaking like this, sat in traffic. Everyone's looking at you like, is your car broken?
Yeah, yeah.
Your eyes are streaming.
Yeah.
There's just fumes just pouring past the car, inside the car, and it ruined it for you. The thing is, I have nothing against bridge parts. Well, I do and I don't. But they've got to be used for the right purposes.
Yeah.
If you're building a street car, you've got to remember that there are many drawbacks to a bridge part, and you can't beat a nice, well-built car with a street part. You could go back to driving this every single day. Like, we stood behind it earlier. It's got a decal on it.
Yeah, yeah. You're doing the full run.
It smells clean.
Yeah.
And like, that is the sort of stuff that you want from an everyday driver. Like this now, you could drive this every day.
Yeah.
It won't use as much fuel.
No, no.
Like the bridge parts use a horrendous amount of fuel. So like this now, it'll be like when you got it in 2015,
Yeah, yeah.
but with that little bit on top.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's going to make this car what it is today.
What it is today, yeah. And this is what it should be moving forward.
Yeah. So we've been talking about doing like a uprated differential in it.
Yeah.
Because the R3's got a different final drive. They accelerate a little bit quicker than the S1s, but they've still got what I like to call them a sometimes diff. Sometimes diff. Because sometimes it'll spin both wheels, other times it'll spin one. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So there's sometimes where they sometimes don't. So we'd like to put an uprated diff in it.
Yeah.
So that you've got a full, proper limited slip diff.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to be getting both wheels spinning all the time, and it will make this car incredible to drive. It's already good to drive.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got all that torque now. You've got a usable power band with a nice rear diff in it. Keep the actual drive ratios the same, so it still accelerates the same, but it'll just feel
Proper.
epic.
Yeah.
Already feels good in corners and stuff.
Yeah, it does.
And then with the new diff, it's going to feel even better.
Yeah, I'm buzzing.
So yeah, I'm glad you're happy with it.
Yeah, I'm over at Moon. I think we should check it out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for a spin.